He's a former PFL fighter. He's fought in the UFC Contender Series, multiple time world champion and King of the Cage, and CFA, and so on and so forth. There's too many titles. I'm not going through all that. But he's been fighting for almost 20 years professionally, and if people know, he's one of my best friends in the whole world. Lazar Stojadinovic, aka the Pitbull, as he was known, now known as the Bronx Bomber. And he has a tremendous mustache and mullet, so we're very happy to have him on.
Yeah, so we're just here kind of to discuss like some changes that we want to do with this camp, especially with the diet. Diet has always been one of my worst things when it came to fights. Not necessarily during the fight, like I always made weight. That wasn't always the issue. The issue was always starting the camp. I always started the camp, as you know, heavy, and the whole camp was based on getting the weight down instead of getting better. And that's kind of the what we're trying to do now to change that up. Kind of go into the camp already at weight and ready to just get improve my skill.
Yeah, like not be an asshole, aka that.
Yeah,
Now simplify that to not be an asshole. Yeah, so people that don't know that are watching this, me and Lazar are chronic yo-yo dieters, and one of the reasons why I think I have so much success with my clients, and Lazar has so much success with his clients and athletes, is because we understand from a very deep personal level. Like this is food is also our happiness, our culture, our everyday, and we had an unhealthy relationship with food, and still in some ways do. And when Lazar told me he's going to get back in the ring, how long has it been since your last fight?
well, my last real fight has been like 3 years since my last MMA fight. I had couple boxing matches here and there, but
You didn't have
just
to make
had,
weight for those fights,
yeah,
really. They
never
were
really,
they
no.
were they
Just
were
kind of
higher weight
walking
fights.
around. Yeah, exactly. 180, 175. Less competition, obviously. The competition wasn't there, but it was still just to get the ring rust off, just to stay active.
Yeah, but
And
because you didn't have to make weight, it wasn't much of an issue for you then.
yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't like I had to make 145 like normally, and like I said, like always having that issue of taking the whole camp to get down to weight was always kind of what took over the camp. Like whenever we were getting ready, is like we were always focusing on, man, are we sweating in this training? Not like are we getting better? Are we improving? It was always like, how many calories do you think we burned in that training session? And that's kind of the focus that I want to stay away from now.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we used to do too is we very much demonized food. Like, so I remember back in our fight camp, we would be like very strict, almost militant, to the point that I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, when we were on, we were so on, it was like to the morsel. We didn't eat anything that wasn't allowed on our diet.
Yeah,
But whenever we did vary, whenever the willpower eventually broke, we would then be like, well, fuck it. Today's done,
yeah,
let's just go. And that's something that I think over time, as we've matured, we've realized, it's about eating an adequate amount of calories to fuel your body. It's about having enough calories that still being in a deficit to lose the weight. And it's not about like this food is bad and now I can't no longer. Now you
yeah,
had one bite of ice cream. Let's go get 30 packs of funfetti
yeah,
Oreos.
yeah.
See how I
And
say
that's
specifically funfetti? So it means it's happening
yeah,
for real.
that's something that also like kind of changed during this time frame that we started is counting those calories. Like whenever I count the calories, you really realize like, man, how easy it is to go over your calories with fueling food, basically. So you can like go over without getting any protein, without getting any healthy anything, and you just go over your calories so easy. And it's something like now you count the calories and you're like, man, you can eat so much quality food for the amount of calories that you need to lose weight and get all the protein, all the fats, anything you need basically in that that meal with staying in your calorie range where you can lose weight. And
And you'll
that's
be
something that
full. And you'll be
and you'll be
full.
full. Yeah,
They just,
exactly.
like the other people like, oh man, I'm hungry and I'm dieting. And okay, especially for an athlete, that's very
Yeah,
possible. That's working out. But if you're eating like if you have like for someone that at your level, like we're gonna get into your calories now, but
Yeah,
someone at your level that you're working out 2 3 times a day and you're have a lot of cardio, like if you're eating like 2,000 calories,
yeah,
and you're having like 300 grams of chicken breast, like
yeah.
you're not
It's
you eat
hard.
300 grams of chicken breast. Hey, you eat
Yeah,
that, and then you eat like
yeah,
a half a cup of rice, and then you have like you have some vegetables. Really, how much more of that you gonna eat? You get
yeah,
like a yogurt afterwards. You're like, oh man, like I'm done.
yeah,
It's the type of food. It's not as palatable, so you don't want to eat as much of it,
yeah.
but it's definitely filling. Like I think it's a misconception for most people.
For sure. And another thing, going back with the calorie count and going back on like when we used to like break and be like, oh, our day's over, let's just go and eat everything. Is like when you're counting the calories and you're measuring it, even if you eat a pizza, you're like, man, I'm still not over my calories. So it's like and we've always like broke over the amount of calories because we're like, oh, we had a slice of pizza, let's just go have ice cream and hamburger, this and that, and that's why we gained weight, not because we ate the one slice of pizza. The one slice of pizza doesn't do anything to you. It's the ice cream and the hamburger and everything else that came along after that slice of pizza. So it's just like it builds, counting the calories builds a healthy relationship with food where you're like, man, I just had a pizza and whatever. Even if you had a scoop of ice cream, you're still like, I'm
Yeah.
still good. Now, of course, you're like, man, yeah, I can't eat for the rest of the day, but it's fine. You had a pizza, an ice cream, and you're fine.
It also gives you like a measurement of how bad the damage is, right? Like so
Yeah,
if you even if you had your 2,000 calories that you're supposed to have, and then you had an extra 1,000 calories of pizza, if you think about it over the week, if you're in a 500 calorie deficit and you've gone 1,000 over, it's really just 2 days of less calorie burn. And if you cut your calories back just a little bit for the next couple of days, just a little bit, you'll be back on the same.
yeah,
And either way, you're still going to lose weight, maybe just not as much weight.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so give me your weight where you started at when we first started when you first found out about BKFC.
So I started around like 185. I got all the way up to like 200, 195 pounds. But then I slowly started like just cutting things down and like running a little bit here and there. I'm getting my extra steps in. And then when we started like finding out about BKFC and we were like, because we've been interested in trying to get BKFC for a while now. But when we finally had some contact with them, I was like, man, I need to get my weight down because we don't know if they like just tell me, oh, all right, 2 weeks. Like I wanted to be ready enough. So I started getting down, and then we started working some more, and now I'm like 163. So it's coming down. I want to be at 155 before I even have a fight camp. Like I said, I just want to be at my weight and just focus on my skills and what I can do to improve for the fight.
So okay, so we got like basically we have about 7 pounds is the goal.
Yeah,
We're gonna try to do that over the next 3 to 4 week periods, over the next month around, maybe even a little more.
yeah,
Uh, the we're not gonna get it's pretty aggressive because we're talking about more than 2 pounds a week, which is a bit
yeah,
it's a bit quick. If we do 3 weeks, we do 4 weeks, it's a little less, but I think because of like the level of training that as it's picking up, that's going to be really easy without us really crashing your calories and making sure you get protein. So you're
yeah.
163 pounds. Around what body fat percentage do you think you are right now?
Maybe 14, 15 would be my guess. Maybe a little higher.
So yeah, my guesstimation was when we did our assessment is around you're around 18% body fat, 18 to
Yeah,
15% in that
yeah,
range. Um, Still very muscular. Lazar is naturally extremely muscular. His biceps are as big as his forehead, and yeah, he's always had that, so that's not much of a worry. So what I would think we're going to do, so we're going to be very transparent. We're going to do this once a week, where basically I'm going to come on the pod. We're going to talk about quickly where you are in your site, in your weight cut, where you are in your fight camp, if there's any news coming up, what we're doing. So the calories we're going to stick to now, we're going to actually stick to like a 2,250 calories a day. We're
Yeah,
going to be trying to hit anywhere between 165 to 170 grams of protein. And I give that a little extra because as we're losing and as you really start picking up your training, the your body's going to start catabolizing. It starts eating because it's a lot of cardio, right? There's
yeah,
not. We're trying to add some weight training. So Lazar is naturally muscular, and he's a freak strong, but he very rarely actually like lifted for hypertrophy. But whenever he did, he looked like a monster. We're trying to rebuild him back in there, especially now that Lazar's 33 years old. He's a bit
30,
older.
35.
35. I'm trying to
I'm
say
turning 35 next month.
I can't believe I actually said 33 so like it's stuck
I
in my head.
wish.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, of course I'm 37. Of course you're 35. I'm not that much older than you. Jesus Christ. Um, so yeah, he's 35.
Even more so.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna start putting some, start lifting some more,
Yeah,
stuff
so
like
we're
that.
gonna we're gonna lift. I Lazar's training session basically is one boxing session, 5 to 6 days a week, right?
Yeah, I do about one boxing session 5 6 days a week. I'm gonna try to add some weights and some cardio in there is what normally I'll do. I'll do some weights and some cardio at night. Like the last thing I do is probably a cardio session, run or something like that. Either sprint or run. It'll be like one day where I do like a long distance, like no more than 4 miles, jog, or I'll do like 15-minute sprint. Basically, we're 1 to 2 minute rest in between each 100-yard dash. So I'll
Yeah.
do something like that. Not short workout just to open up my lungs, just for cardio, really more than anything.
So yeah, one thing I'm gonna do differently with Lazar this camp is we're gonna keep his carbohydrates high. See, one thing me and Lazar used to do a lot is we would drop our carbs really low, basically because you get that quick water loss flux in the
Yeah,
beginning, and that feels so like okay, I'm losing weight, and it kind of gets you started. Which there's nothing wrong with that with the everyday general population, like that's great. But when you're an athlete and you're looking to fuel your body, like the goal is here is to go into the fight fueled. We
yeah,
want to go into the fight with our protein high. We've retained as much muscle as we can, that we're walking into the camp ready to focus on becoming a better boxer or a better bare knuckle boxer, and specifically for this fight, like, and to be a better athlete, not to lose weight. Like, this isn't a fat camp. Like, I want you to feel comfortable taking a day off running if your legs feel tired, and not be like, man, I need to burn those calories. I think that's going to
yeah.
be a huge difference for this fight.
And that's, yeah, that's the thing too. Like as soon as we start getting a little closer, we have a fight date. I'm basically cutting down those long distance runs and just doing those 100-yard dashes, just to get my explosiveness, my speed, my power, everything more than anything. That I don't have to do those long distance cardio runs, because that's more for losing weight. Those 4 mile runs. If I do the 100-yard dash, I'm gonna be in shape. I don't need those long runs. So as the fight gets closer, I'm gonna cut down on those long runs.
That's awesome. Look, man,
I think
that's
that I think that
perfect.
would
This is
be the
exactly
best.
what
I
we want.
think that'd be the best way.
Oh, for sure. And this is exactly what we want now. So every week we're going to hit this episode in. So just to recap, I'll put this up on the screen too so people can see it. Lazar's calories are going to be 2,250. We're going to have 165 grams of protein to 170 grams of protein. The fats and carbs we're gonna vary them, but we're going to stick with a much higher carb ratio than we do for fats. Like I'm really thinking we're gonna probably do a 40-40-20 split for carbs, for protein, carbs, and fats. Maybe even like a 30 a 30 60-20 split. Sorry. a 30-60-10 split, which would be like 30 protein, 60 carbs, and 10 fat. Um,
Yeah.
that's might be what we do, just so we want to keep the fats lower, but enough fats that you're able to heal your body, keep your joints lubricated, keep your hormone levels good,
Yeah.
but really fuel you with carbohydrates and give you enough protein to retain that muscle. Guys, that's all we've got time for here today. Lazar for trusting it. Lifetime Transformations, Tony Diamond, Lazar
Yeah.
Stojadinovic. Thank you very much.